How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the James Loud Podcast. And today, my special guest is Miami Mango. How you doing?
What's going on, James? Thanks for having me here. Appreciate it.
Oh man, I'm glad to have you on. You're another one. I'm super excited to get you on here. When I started doing the podcast planning, I'm like, who do I want on here? Your name was one of the people. You know, we've been friends for a while. We went to the class at NetFM together. I think that was the first time we met.
That was like
5 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Yeah.
5 years ago. Almost 5 years ago.
We had a good group. We had Autumn cultivate. She had her hat.
Yeah. She's the one that brought me Sky. Yeah. So we got a bunch of Skies now with, he's doing his own thing, but Smoking Mirrors.
Smoking Mirrors grow down. We had Plum Dog Millionaire and
Plum Dog's the man.
And a couple other people in there. I think we had the Keith from Spectral LED in there too, in that group. It was pretty cool. That was fun times.
It was a good group. We went out to dinner.
And that's where I met James from Liberty Chemical too. He was there too.
Yeah.
He wasn't at the class, but he was at the restaurant.
Yeah, nice.
That's pretty cool. It's definitely been a while, about 5 years since we've known each other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So for our guests, tell us a little bit about your history in the industry, how you got started back in the day.
Let me see. Started back in the day because all my friends, I moved from Colombia to Deerfield Beach or Pompano Beach, Florida. And I became a surfer. And all my friends were surfers, and most of them were rich, and they all smoked weed. And I was anti-weed. And then they were even rich, and they would still sell weed. I'm like, fuck, man, I need to do that. Because I was busting my ass being a bus boy, salad boy, prep cook, construction. And eventually I just said, I'm going to sell some weed. I need to buy a car or something because I had a beat up car. And from there I got into construction, and then they wanted me to build stuff for them. So then I would build it, and then I would get all the rights to whatever came out of that place that I would build. And that's how I got my start in the cannabis thing.
Nice.
Hmm?
And that was Miami back in the 90s? 2000s?
It was actually Palm Beach. I kind of skipped when we came from Colombia. We skipped the whole Miami thing. Went straight to Broward County, North Broward County.
Wow. South
Palm Beach, and it was around that area that all started.
Nice.
We had some. It's just luck of the draw, but we had some surfers that were pretty connected, and they had access to indoor back in 80, 86, 87. I had friends in high school that would go buy this weed called Crypto.
Yeah.
From this dude with long hair, a surfer dude. His name was Taco Joe. Mm-hmm. That was his nickname, because he had like a Mexican little restaurant. But he had the best weed around, and that weed to this day is still some of the baddest weed that I remember.
There's some interesting things that came out of Florida. For like example, OG Kush. Did you see OG Kush back in the day? Was that something that went around as like the Crippy or?
You know what? Crippy is Crippy to anybody that remembers seedless. That Crypto was the original thing that we remember as chronic seedless stuff that was pretty damn good. And then people started growing more and more weed in Florida. The Cubans, they're beasts. They were growing all kinds of weed down in Homestead in Miami.
Lots of sativas?
Lots of sativas, yes. Lots of hazes, lots of stuff. And anything that was seedless became synonymous with crippy.
Yeah.
And, little accent, the creepy. You got that creepy?
Yeah.
So everything was seedless. It was creepy to anybody. So creepy could be whatever it was at that time that you first started smoking that was seedless.
It was the exotics of its day.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
And then the Cuban Black Haze, and
I really like the Cuban Black Haze. I got some in the other room and some Piff.
Yes,
really good stuff.
Pretty much kind of almost the same thing. Is you got that, like that cat piss kind of leathery, burnt rubber kind of like smell. It's definitely different.
Yeah, well, it's got pine and limonene, and so it's like it's got a lot of. It's robust. It's got a lot of different flavors.
Super musky, stinky, just kind of like dank, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the effect of them too. But they're long flowering plants.
Yes, they're definitely not a commercial viable plant. Anything that takes longer than 10 weeks is really hard to justify because nobody's going to pay for what it costs to grow.
Right.
So they're faded out in the commercial side. There are some people that have bred the Piff and other hazes into 9-week strains. I don't know how they did it, back crosswords or something. And there are some 9-10 week strains. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The haze that I grow is the mango haze, and that's on 63, 65 day strain haze.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why we grew it. And it threw down too. I mean, back in the day, it was.
So yours finishes the one you showed me yesterday.
Yes.
Finishes in 63 days?
63 to 65 days, that thing's done.
Wow.
It's a late bloomer, starts slow.
Yeah.
And then it just puts its weight on. And in the last, couple of weeks, it definitely, throw some weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, 63, 65 there.
It's got an interesting structure. It's funny because we were just talking on the last podcast I did about structure and, appealing structure. People like those nested tight buds, whereas like that stuff is very open bud with bracts that stack on top of each other. And
yes, very foxtaily. Some of it's looser than others. The mango haze happens to be like tight foxtails, super bright orange hairs, and like I call it wet terps. It retains its weight. When it dries out. When you have dry, wet flower with no leaf on it, and it dries, it usually dries anywhere between 19 to 22% average. The mango is one of those that kind of retains its weight because it's like heavy oils.
Yeah.
So it's like in the 20, 22%.
It's greasy.
Just straight. Yeah,
it's greasy
super
to
greasy.
the touch. Yeah.
Greasy. Doesn't wash for shit.
Yeah.
It's a loser in the
wash, but still
in the wash, it's a loser. But for BHO, it's a winner. It definitely throws down on that for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm sure smoking joints of it, I can just imagine from smelling it yesterday how it tastes.
Yes, it's definitely got there's some people, I like it. I like the taste. Chicks love the taste too. There's some people that love the taste. There's some people actually, don't like the taste.
I think it's strong. I could just tell by the smell of it that it's probably pretty strong. It's
super
full flavor,
pungent.
but it's probably also strong in effect.
Super pungent. Yeah. And you know what? It actually tests pretty low for THC, like in the mid 25s.
Nice.
I've had it anywhere from 23 to 26 roughly.
Yeah.
But it definitely gets you high. And we all know that just because, something's lower or in the high teens or low 20s doesn't mean that it's not good. It's got a different effect.
Totally. People are just starting to figure that out. That like,
I don't think they'll ever figure it out, James.
Yeah, if that's not the truth.
You know what? Anybody that's in the cannabis game may know it, but most people, they just go straight to their store and they just look at that percentage line, and that's just, it's like tunnel vision, like a horse with blinders, and that's all they're going to buy. If it's 30
and I
plus,
think that's going to change though. I see it changing in Colorado. I see it changing in Washington more, that people are relying on brands rather than just THC. Mm-hmm. And so if you have a good brand and you have something that they trusted enough to try it, and it's just going to take time. And it's going to take better products with low THC on the market where people are like, holy shit, it's only 22%.
To me, it's about flavor. Flavors. Like I don't see anybody that's going to a liquor store and goes like, "What? Let me see on the shelf. What's got the highest alcohol level?"
151.
I just want the 151. That tastes great. Oh, right. That's just so,
the grain alcohol.
That's so soothing to you. Yeah, it doesn't work. I mean, that's
totally.
So, and like even alcohol, I like the pina coladas, I like the strawberry daiquiris.
I do like a good pina colada. That's one of the better drinks out there, especially for tropical. Yeah. It feels like vacation. So even if I was to drink one at home, I feel like I'm on vacation.
On vacation. It gets the mood going. Like I like Moscow Mule. Yeah. It's just some kind of, with some little extra mint, just a little, kick of some, herbs in there. But people are just stuck in this high THC thing, which I just, like I said, give me 151 rum or give me some what's it called? Some, the backwoods. Everclear. The backwoods, the stuff that they make in the woods. What's it called?
Your moonshine.
Moonshine. Yeah. Give me some moonshine. That just tastes great. No, that's just like firewater, literally.
See that's the moonshine that comes right out of the still. Yeah, that's the firewater. But you got good guys that make moonshine and they dilute it properly.
They dilute it and they put some fruit in it. Yeah,
exactly. But that's the whole exactly.
We're going back to tasting.
Yeah, and craft.
Exactly. Yeah. Tasting. Yeah. Some guys that infuse it with apples or oranges, citrus or something, whatever it is, to
making it their own.
Exactly.
But that's what we need to do with genetics too. I feel like we're in this really interesting place where everything is like purple candy gas gelatos, and that's going to change. Everything changes. That's what it is.
If it ain't candy gas, they just.
But how do you make it your own? You know what I mean? That's going to like your mango strain, your mango haze, right?
Yep, I'm getting ready to.
Those things are going to over time will develop into popular things. I mean, I can just assume that will, like everything else, but like we need those things because we need the diversity, because taste is so subjective. It's interesting.
Yeah, like everybody says, I hate fruit or I hate gas or I hate earthy, whatever it is. I tell people is Baskin Robbins got 31 flavors for a reason. What's the best, vanilla or chocolate? Right. Strawberry or some chunky monkey, different palates. So,
Vanilla. Some people just love that plain old vanilla. You can eat an
I
edible if you don't want to.
I gotta say, I like Haagen-Dazs vanilla, whereas it's not infused with air like all this Breyers and all this stuff. But
Oh yeah,
I'm a vanilla guy. Rum raisin though, it's actually better. So there's some fruit.
yeah. I love gelato. I
Okay.
love Italian.
Yeah,
I'm big on the Italian style where they don't have the air, the overrun.
No, exactly. Yeah, when it's fluffed out, it kind of dilutes
it ruins it.
It ruins
but it's
it
also different where it's like it's healthier. I think gelato is healthier than ice cream.
It's probably real
more
cream.
milk and
real cream. Yeah, or real milk or whatever it is. Yeah.
But yeah, and you eat it fresh. So whereas ice cream, you pull it out of the freezer. I think gelato, if you make it that day, it's freaking amazing. And it has this texture, right? A special texture.
And especially when they start mixing like pistachios or this caramel or stuff like that. There was a place in Oregon that was insane that made the most insane ice cream or gelato. And I forget what it was, Fins and Feathers or some weird name, but they made the weirdest ice cream. And one day they were making out of duck fat or something like that. It was just the best ice cream I ever tasted.
Duck fat ice cream sounds crazy.
Yeah, super creamy.
Yeah, I bet. It's a heart stopper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I made gelato when I was in my 20s, my early 20s. I worked at a gelato shop for like 6 months, Gelato Milano in Berkeley Avenue, and I really wanted to learn how to make gelato because I was and it's just amazing the process, and I have so much appreciation for
You can't get away from gelato, can you?
No.
Gelato then, gelato now.
And now they're forcing the gelato on me. And I do like some of the gelatos, like the 33 is super diverse. I feel like there's a lot of amazing stuff, but like everything's gelato these days.
Backseat gelato came out of some kind of bag, and everything's just from there. And then another backseat came out. It was just, I guess,
backseat after backseat. But and that's okay. I think all these evolutions that we're going through, these different stages, they're all okay. They're all part of the process of wherever we're going.
Yep. Can you call what the next fad thing's going to be? It's so hard to call it. What do you think?
I think gas is coming back. Honestly, I think gas and lime green. I've been talking about lime green a little bit with people, and I think lime green has the potential, but gas, like old school OGs and also old school favorites that we're nostalgic about, those are going to come back.
A lot of people are saying like the hazes are coming back. I think I read somewhere, might have been an Instagram post from Mr. Nice Seed Bank, that he says that in the last year he sold more mango haze seeds than like since he ever started selling them.
Wow.
So
what we have is the increase in popularity, and so more people are trying cannabis. We have like a larger pool of people. There's more people breeding. There's more people buying seeds to a degree, although it's been a little slow this year with seed sales retail, but I think that has to do with the economy.
I would probably say so too. I would probably say so too. And seeds aren't cheap, and I can see where that would probably hurt, the seed breeders a little bit because people are not buying them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Well, and there's so many. There's just so many breeders. Everybody's a breeder. Everybody wants to be a breeder.
There is.
And anybody can make seeds. But I think seeds aren't hard to make.
I think breeders nowadays, they're not like they used to. Back in the day when I remember breeders, they didn't have seeds all the time, and they would work the line to. It wasn't like what do you call it, F1s or S1s? When you're
crossing them,
you cross them and then you sell
them.
everything. But now they cross and they sell everything. It's like a potluck. It's more like a lottery ticket.
Yeah, stuff was held a lot tighter, and you didn't want to necessarily sell stuff when you were breeding, or you didn't necessarily. It wasn't the same. And like the sour diesel cut, we didn't want the sour diesel cut to get out. We didn't want to share the sour diesel cut.
Nobody wanted any good cut to get out.
No, you didn't want cuts to get out.
Especially in Florida. Let me tell you, I paid $60,000.
Yeah.
For the mango cut back in 2001.
Crazy.
$60,000 for 9 little clones and a recipe on how to grow it. And
wow.
But it paid itself back then. You grew weed and you sell the pound of weed for anywhere from $4,000 to $4,800, whether it was 1 or 10, it didn't matter. So you made your money back on one run, and then from there on, it was all profit. And the thing back then is you didn't really have, it's federally legal in Florida. To this day, 25 plants or more was 3-year minimum mandatory.
Yeah.
So you didn't want to mess with seeds in Florida because, it was a potluck. Are we going to hit? Are we not going to hit? And then you needed to hit. You have this house, you spend all this money on a grow. You need to hit from day one.
Yeah.
Now, the good thing is back then, if you hit from day one, you got all your money back and you made some.
Even if you grew mediocre weed back then.
You got your money back and made some.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Times were so different in so many ways. And, I can appreciate the past. It was wild. It was the Wild West.
100%.
And yeah, I mean, you were building out multiple grows, and you were growing and doing all kinds of stuff. So
since 1996, yeah,
wow.
Since 1996, 95, I started building them. I think we grew our first crop in 96.
Amazing.
And it was a house, 4-lighter, 6-lighter, and then the bathroom was the mom room and clone room. And then from there, it was all history. Then we just started, just gutting houses, garages.
You gut houses. You put in, lights in every room. You guys fill them out to like 30 lighters, or were you doing like smaller, like 10 lighters?
10 lighters. 10 lighters.
Yeah. 10 lighters was big.
10 lighters, and then we would do them. they would flip. 10 lights during the day, 10 lights at night. You know what I'm saying? So they would flip.
Yeah.
So they would be working 24 hours. Like you had to make that money. So we definitely did that.
I had an 8-lighter. And my friends wanted to jump in, or my buddy wanted to jump into a 50-lighter with me. And I was like, that's too big. That's great. Now it's like 50 lighters, nothing.
50-lighter, you ain't doing it in a house. 50-lighter, you got to go to a warehouse. And we were scared of warehouses in Florida. It just didn't happen. Florida's a little different because you got to jump the power. You can't, here in California,
they'll turn you in.
You guys are spoiled because
Sacramento, they turn you in too, I heard.
And Smud area, they
Smud's
do.
rough.
Smud, they'll point the finger at you. Yeah.
Well, so in Oakland, how they determined the green zone was by the power. So they went and looked at PG&E, the highest used power areas where everyone was already growing. Yeah. That's where they put the green zone for cannabis in Oakland.
Interesting.
So very supportive of the movement.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's just like nowadays with these LEDs that we have now, and you can slam them on the canopy. You can turn that power way down and slam on the canopy. You still have the same PPFE. That's a winner because you don't have to tap anymore. So that's a pretty good way to go about it now.
You got into the lighting game kind of early, or I guess not so long ago, but you got in with a good product.
And yes, and it was kind of by accident in a way. I've told this story several times. I got raided in 2017, 6 months before legalization in California. Yeah. I was planning on going out west. East from here, west from Florida to Colorado. I was invested into a grow over there that was kind of failing. I was buying some partners out, and I thought I was gonna, make it there. And then I got raided in 2017 in Oroville, California, and that threw a wrench in my spoke, and I had to reinvent myself. I had to figure out how to survive and feed the family. So I started doing more consulting because I had started doing it, and I met this Asian dude in Oregon at a trap that I was rebuilding, and he liked me. He seen something in me, and we started selling these controllers, and I started giving them feedback as a grower, because they had a great product as it was anyway, but it just needed to be refined.
This is the original Trollmaster.
Correct.
Before it was Trollmaster.
No, it was Trollmaster. It was Trollmaster already.
Nice.
It was Trollmaster already. It wasn't in any stores.
Yeah.
Back then it wasn't Hawthorne. It was Sunlight Supply.
Yeah.
Turn them down. Hydrofarm, turn them down. And any other store, turn them down. So the owner went up and down the coast from door to door with pamphlets. He moved from Hong Kong to LA and went up and down the coast. Just pamphlet after pamphlet, and he had some sales. And the guy that I was doing a trap for, picked up the pamphlet and told me we were going to use his controllers. I was kind of against it, but it wasn't my dog and pony show. So I had to do.
Were you hand watering at the time?
No. He actually hired me. He was hand watering. He was hand watering pots with this big, cocoa on a pallet with casters.
Oh, wow.
On this makeshift stuff, and he wanted to get automated. Since my first grow in 1996, James, I was automated. Intermatic, baby. Intermatic with, automatic drippers. There's no fucking way I was going to hold on.
I think it's important to learn how to hand water in the beginning. Like, you got to get away from it. There's no way to do it at scale.
I was a contractor.
Yeah.
I was a contractor.
You're like, no way am I watering these plants.
Sitting here counting to 10, multiple times a day. It's just not going to happen. So we automated everything. From back then, somebody showed me a grow, and I said, I can do that. I can do it better in my mind. Obviously, I didn't voice that.
Right.
But you walk into this growth, but in their defense, they're not contractors. They're not construction savvy, so they do the best that they can with what they got. But as soon as I walk into this place, okay, I'll change that. I'm just looking around in my mind. I'm going, I'm not going to do this. Don't do that. That can be the one better. Yeah. And eventually, you have an automated system. It was intermatic, but it still worked. Turn on and off.
Yeah.
And that's why I was so against Trollmaster, because I had this little controller that was smaller than an intermatic time clock, and it did everything. I'm like, you fucking kidding me? I'm not the most, technology savvy guy. And I'm like, I was scared of it.
Did you use 50-gallon drums to build your stock tank back in the day? You just have
We used there weren't drums because I recirculated feed back then. So to do it the easiest way so things wouldn't break is we had a pump in these low, shallow, like 16-inch, 60-gallon reservoirs that sat underneath a long table, and we top drip feed to a gutter, and then the gutter back gravity back into the reservoir, and we were circulated.
Yeah.
So you really only have to rely on one pump and one timer.
Yeah.
To activate that. It was actually it was technologically at that time high tech for that time, but it was simple to the point that it wasn't going to break. I mean, intermittent timer on off, like a sprinkler outside, on off, pretty simple.
Yeah, those ball valves were pretty simple. And I remember my buddy at his grow, we showed up, but he had the float valve to fill up the 50 gallons.
Big
and
problem.
The float valve didn't work,
and
the whole room was flooded.
Oh yes, it's not when it's going to flood, but not if it's going to flood, but when it's going to flood. We also had, when we built grow rooms in Florida, when the guy that taught me, we used to build subfloors. So we did a subfloor, we pitched it, and then we used to use shower pan liners when they put underneath a shower in a second story home. Before, and then they put concrete, and then they put the tile on it. So we used to glue the shower pan liners that would go on the pitch floor up the wall, and then we put some hardy board that was painted. The first one wasn't painted, and they got moldy. And then we said, okay, we got to paint them. We painted the outside of them, and then the inside of them were moldy, so we painted all the way around. When the shower pan liner went up the wall, hardy plank on the side, and then we foamed the whole rooms, and then the first ones was just the closed cell foam aluminum, and then we started painting them and stuff like that. So we got better. It was a progression.
Yeah.
We graduated with using TPO, which is a roofing membrane that needs 500 degrees to seal it together.
Wow.
And then from there we went to straight, the rolling benches and stuff like that. But
nice.
So back to that is if something ever bursted, it wouldn't flood the house.
Yeah.
Because there was a drain at the corner that would send it to the outside of the garden or whatever.
Right.
Of the house.
Do you guys use wood rolling benches back in the day?
No.
Or did you, even from the beginning?
No, from the beginning, like I said, from the beginning we had a subfloor, and we started with, I think they were like 1 gallon pots that were, called a dock for the hydrogen.
Yeah.
And then a 3-inch cube inside the 1 gallon pot with hydrogen, and with top feed and the feed to waste. Waste. So we go on the shower pan liner, work its way down to the drain, and then go outside.
Yeah.
And then when I met the guy, the Cuban guy that I bought the mango from, he showed me these benches that they had a little bit of benches. He's the one that showed me the benches with the gutter, and they had 2x4s on cinder blocks.
Yeah.
With a gutter, and then they had soft hose that would go like this in between leach trays, Dutch leach trays, pitched at an angle, and they had the little L's that you put into the leach tray. So so I'm looking at this thing. I'm trying to absorb as much as possible because you don't get to take pictures. You only get to be there once, or they tell you whatever it is. And then I said, well, I'm not going to use bricks. I'm going to use legs. And then I'm not going to use this hose that's going to go like this because you lose pressure.
Yeah.
Put a pipe down the back of it, and then offshoots, and then spaghetti drippers. So you're evaluating this grow as they're telling you about it, or you're looking at it. And then before you know it, when they look at your stuff, it's like, fuck, I should have never told this guy. I should have never told him. You show me once and it's over. And then from then on, I just kind of do it on my own.
Right. Nice. And so going into the Troll Masters, that was in California, Florida.
No, the Troll Master was actually Oregon.
Oh, in Oregon.
In Oregon, yeah. In Oregon, I went up to Oregon to work for 6 months. I thought I was going to jail.
Oh shit!
After I got raided, I was fighting this case, and I was in my mind I was going to jail. So I figured I'd go to work and try to save as much money,
right,
to save whatever the shoebox had at that time, because I got my ass kicked in that time. So
I know all about that.
Yeah,
it sucks. A shitty feeling.
It sucks, bro. And you're on your own. People treat you like you're a leopard. Everybody from the get-go, you're a rat. I mean, they don't. People said that I got out the next day. Bullshit. I said they kept us on weed. On weed, they kept us in jail for 30 fucking days.
Wow.
30 days on weed. Yeah, I had a fucking lab, but they still, people get out. They wouldn't
Yeah.
let us because we're from Florida. They thought they were
Sure.
gonna get out and then skip. So
Yeah.
the wife said, "You want me to bail you out?" I said, "No, don't bail me out."
Yeah.
It would have been $50K either too, and I don't want to lose that $50K.
Fuck. Yeah, no,
You know,
that's
it's a
not
$2
wild.
million bond. I don't want to lose $50K. So I said, no. I mean, I know how the law works. You know what I'm saying? The longer you sit in there,
Yeah.
the lower the bond gets. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Listen, I didn't kill anybody. It
Yeah.
wasn't an
It was
aggravated,
all nonviolent.
offense. You know, I wasn't a pedophile. None of that. I just knew in time the bond was going to go down. They weren't, they were going to, it just has to.
Yeah.
So I just didn't think it was going to be 30 days, but it was 30 days. And then they finally let us out, on a lower bond. And then I got out with another guy. And then I went to the bank because they released my bank accounts.
Yeah.
And I got the other guys out. I got the other guys out. And then they wouldn't let us leave to go to Florida for 4 months, which was kind of cool. You know why? Because I had free labor from those guys that were staying at the farm, and they helped me deconstruct the 3,000 square foot building and put it back to normal because I had to sell that property.
Oh, wow.
I had to sell that property. So I deconstructed everything. I sold everything that was not strapped down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kept the 16 lighter as a comeback kit. Cause like I said, I thought I was going to jail. So
Right.
I kept the 16 lighter that I put in a warehouse for like 3 years or 4 years waiting for.
Back then it was a good time to do it. 16 lighter.
Yes. Yeah. That was the comeback kit. I can come back with 16 lights and build a future from there.
Totally. Now maybe not.
I don't know. It'd be tough. I could probably just pay the bills. I don't know about a comeback, but you could probably survive.
You could probably survive if you go get enough flour.
If you do it yourself,
With the new technology, you can get 3 pounds of light of good flour. I mean, we were looking at those undercarriage lights yesterday, and what's his brand? It's
Faven. It was Faven's.
Yeah,
Faven's.
it's
We went to
really, really cool. Yeah, Bobby
cool.
Bags. Shout out to Bobby Bags.
Shout out to Bobby Bags.
My buddy Justin, he'd been talking about that for a long time with his own version of it. But like these lights, $200, and you retail 200, and you got one per 4x4, and he talks 25% yield. I don't even care if it's 10% yield. I think it pays for itself.
It's a winner.
It's going to make the quality better.
I've been doing since that place that I got rated at. I've been doing the side lighting. The Pacific Light Concepts gave me some cobs, and so did Next Light gave me some panels.
Nice.
And I ran them up top, and I think the LEDs were almost there. They really weren't quite what they are today.
Yeah.
And I had a shit ton of LEDs, and I'm thinking, it's like, I mean, these things are cool. What am I gonna do with them? And then they had the cobs, or 3 cobs. I forget the wattage. And it just says, you know what? I'm gonna put them on the side of the fucking walls.
Nice.
So I lined up all these rooms with lights like every so often. And I did a run, and I'm like, holy shit.
Bigger yields?
Holy shit. Is they like, some strains are better than others. Some strains, I mean,
all of it. It's some strains are better in CMH than they are in HPS or LED.
But I'm saying like there's some strains that have bud sights all the way down to the rock wall. I mean, like back then, Purple Punch was hot. And I would have buds of Purple Punch almost this size right here.
Yeah, I don't like Purple Punch. That's a bad example.
No, but you know what? Back then it was hot. I don't care what anybody says. You know what I'm saying? If they pay for it, it's great. You might not like to smoke it, but people paid for it.
Yeah,
so
it looked amazing. Purple Punch, it was the biggest letdown we'd ever. It looked amazing.
It was beautiful. And I was one of the first ones to have it. I got blessed. Some dude goes, somebody stole the cut from somebody. This is a story.
It's like those hot women in LA that look amazing and then they have no soul.
There's a lot of those in Miami.
Yeah.
Probably more in Florida.
Probably more in Florida.
Yeah, but this guy calls me about a cut of Purple Punch. I obviously found this story about it later. I didn't know. And it's like, I took a whim on a whim. I said, whatever, $1,000, no problem. I go out. And he goes, well, where you at? When can you come get it? I go, well, I'm on my way to Sacramento Airport. He goes, shit, I thought you were in Miami. Obviously, he reached out to me because he thought I was in Miami, like most people do. And I go, no, I'm in Sacramento. I'm going to the airport. So he met me. I got the Purple Punch, and I grew it. But anyway, back to these LEDs. The LEDs, I mean, I remember I bought a Purple Punch almost as big as this coming out of a Rockwell like this. And it's like, oh, are you kidding me? But then I called Pacific Light Concepts, and I ordered more. I paid for these next time. And then I just lined up the whole 2 sides.
Wow.
And then I dropped HPS bulbs in the center of the aisles, and I caged them because people, guys or girls were burning themselves in the shoulders because they were touching it or hot.
Oh, I bet.
And then the yields just went through the roof. It was just crazy because I had upgraded from standard HPS to these. And then I added this side lighting that was on the outside walls.
Yeah.
And then the drop bulbs on the center. And it was just massive.
So everything's
yields.
getting an even amount of PPFD.
It was just tons of light. I don't know what the fuck PPFD was back then. You mean, but it was just tons of light, and I just knew that it worked. And then later on, after I think it was 2018 or beginning of 2019, I think it was after I came back from Oregon. Yeah, I built this amazing 2-car garage for these guys in Santa Rosa, California. And I called the guy Cord, which is he was part owner of Pacific Light Concepts. And I said, hey man, I'm looking to remember those slides that you gave me. I'm building a garage and I want to make these custom panels, that I can race up and down in the aisles, because the other place was just long and it was just 2 rows, so I could put them on the outside. But this one was several rows, and you got to work in the aisle. So how am I going to do this? So he goes, yeah, no problem, Alex. I'll help you out. So we'll do some strips. So I kind of did some drawings, and I still have those drawings. It says King Wook's sidelights or something, or
hilarious.
Yeah, because he was kind of, he's like a hash guy, and that was his nickname, Wook, King Wook. So we called him King Wook. So anyway, I designed these panels, and then I went to a fabricator in town. He got this piece of aluminum metal. I gave him the dimensions he made, and then I glued these I think were 100 watt sticks with Samsung LEDs. So, and I put them on there with this tape that would allow the heat to go into the metal. And I built these things, and then he sent me the whole kit to be able to hook them up. And then we had sidelights that would go up and down. Wow. And that place crushed too. For a 2-car garage, shit. Yeah. I parked the range on the outside of the house.
So the light just goes up and down nice and slow?
No. You put it in place. In the walls, it was only one-sided. It was fixed to the wall. But in the aisles, you would drop it. You leave it there. But then if you had to go service the aisle, then you got a pulley. You pull them out of the way.
Nice.
You spread the rolling benches. Yeah. And then you go service. You go defoliate, water. Whatever you want to do. Yeah. Pick, and then when you're done with the aisle, you drop the lights and then close the benches and then go to the next one and do the same thing. Yeah. And that garage is actually operating to this day. Really? And when I built it back in 2000, we're 2023 now. 2018, people. They called him through my Instagram. What an idiot. I can't believe he's spending that money. He's going to get busted. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. They thought I was still a rat at that time. You hear it all. And then guess what? Silly. Fucking 2023 and they're still operating. Yeah. I feel you. I feel you. They're number 11. Funny. Yeah, man. But yeah, that's great. And so with the lights, what makes your lights so special? Because I feel like you have a special light that's different than other people's lights. At first, our lights were special because they had the right spectrum and they had the best diodes in the market. Yeah. And the controllability is second to none. The cat's out of the bag. Everybody knows, what good diodes are, what bad diodes are. Everybody knows that LM301Bs were the best diodes at that time. They're not anymore. They are. There's an H. There's an Evos, but they're so expensive nowadays that it's just not commercially viable to go to those diodes because the difference is not that much. Maybe for a small manufacturer of lights it is, but not for a bigger company. The Osram Reds is what we use, but controllability is king. And people started to catch on that you want to be able to control the deep red and control the far red. So they started adding that. But to this day, there's not a combination of controller and light that work as good as the TrolMaster HydroX Pro with the ThinKrow LED lights. Yeah. Now our lights have 4 spectrums, and they're all can be individually adjusted to your liking and strain dependent. As you saw yesterday when I brought you through, when you stopped by our place, I show you the test that we're doing. A lot of times people read Google or read books or whatever it is, and they get information, and then you go to the next story. It contradicts what you just read. Right. And that was the issue with me for this last 4 years that I took a hiatus from growing. I was selling LEDs, and I knew they were really good LEDs, but I didn't really play with them myself because I didn't have a personal grow.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to actually put all this stuff into. I'm implementing all these tests myself because I'm a kind of person I want to do it.
Right.
I want to prove it to myself, and all these things that I've been, they've been telling me that the far red, will stretch, will shorten, will take off time. It's all fine and dandy, but I need to do it so I can see it for myself, believe it, and then I can teach people about it and tell them how to do it. So the first test that we're doing yesterday is you seen it was pretty dark one. I want you to stay there when the lights went off so you could say, wow, okay, yeah. There's far red here, and it's not really light polluting anything in the center.
No.
So it was important for me to show you that. So 5 minutes of far red after dark, and then the opposite side is at 30 minutes after darkness. That the red stay on,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like it shaved 2 weeks off a 9-week strain.
Well, it looks like something's going on there for sure.
For sure. So what we started doing, we're going to do this the right way. What we're going to do is we're going to cut tops of somewhat the same size, same height away from the light, in the 5 minute after dark, the control subject, and then the 30 minutes after dark, and then we're going to label them. Okay, this one was at 50 days. Then 3 days later, do it again, and then another 3 days later, do it again.
Yeah.
And then we're going to send all that stuff to testing. We also look at them through the loop, and the loops are showing that it's pretty much done. But at the end of the day, the test is going to tell you the truth. I think it's a CBGA that's going to tell you if that plant, if you left meat on the bone per se or not, when
Sure.
it's fully mature. So at the end of the day, roughly, we have to take that room to 63 days because the majority of the room was set for that. So
Right.
even if these 2 rows get too dark, or I guess too amber or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it's what's going to have to happen. And the environmentals in that room were set to finish at 9 weeks.
Yeah.
So then we'll send those for testing. The next round, we're going to do it to where we expand our test subjects to 5 racks from one side, 5 racks in another. There's 13 racks in that room, and then 3 racks are going to be in that are going to be the control. And then we're going to run that room to finish the environmentals. We're going to run it to finish in 7 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So it should actually, what you've seen yesterday, it actually should be farther along because now we're making the room colder faster. We're gonna drop the EC, earlier.
Yeah.
And then we're going to lower the PPFD and the light, earlier. So actually, what we saw yesterday should be actually probably even farther along and even more amber than what we saw yesterday because the environmentals followed the timeline.
Right. Yeah, it's really impressive, and it's very obvious. It's
Yes,
not,
it is.
that's the thing is it's very obvious. You can't argue the fact.
And the
that
funny thing is, like when you the other day, the director of cultivation was in there, and then the PPFD is down on the LEDs, and you can't really dim an LED. By the way, you can't dim an LED. The way that you dim an LED is by is flashes, LED flashes. Okay, so when it's on 100%, it's just on, and when you start doing, like say 90%, it flashes off for super quick time and it comes back on. The lower the dim, the off cycle is longer than the on cycle. So that's how you dim an LED, believe it or not. So it's not really dimming it, is you're talking to it a Morse code per se. So then when you're videoing, you see all these little lines in the phone. But then, so I told the director of cultivation, hey, turn these up to 100 because I want to do a video because the lines were messing up with the video, the color. Yeah. And you're doing this video and then the representation on the phone is not the same as your eyesight when you're seeing this. And these things are fucking done. They're purple. And then you look over here, these are white, still got white hairs and stuff like that. It's more of a visual thing when you're there. And, it tells you, wow, these things are really working.
Right.
So, so it's going to be interesting to do it the next time, and really be able to have the science behind it and give people the feedback, on this.
Totally. Well, you've been doing a bunch of data collection. Sounds like from talking to you guys are collecting data on phenotypes, and you're also doing some pheno hunting.
Yes, we're doing some pheno hunting. Something that I'm not used to doing. This is something new for me. You're the expert on this field for sure.
It's very challenging.
This is the first, like I said, in my life, I probably count on one hand how many seeds I popped until this last run. I went from like 5 seeds in my life to 520 seeds.
Wow.
So it was definitely,
it's an adventure.
It's definitely cool. And then seeing these these different phenos. Like, oh my God, this one's tall and it's busting out. This one over here looks like a bonsai tree.
Yeah.
It's like, holy crap.
Well, then you're doing the initial growing from seed the first run. So your next run is going to be completely different. So some of the stuff that looks a certain way, when you grow it from the first clonal generation, it could be a completely different expression. You could lose terps, you could gain terps, you just get different things as the plant matures. Right. And sometimes they get better. Which is
I ask a lot of questions to breeders. Like I said, this is not my field. So
yeah.
By no means am I nowhere near a fucking expert or anything like that. So I ask questions, and what everybody says is just clone everything in there.
Yeah.
Put it to the side, flip those, see which ones are your males, then go back to your clone room and kill those, or if you want to keep them, whatever, but get rid of them. And then once you're left, what's everything is that you think is females, then plant those. That way they all run at the same time.
Right.
It's like, you have, 400 plants. This one's small. It's take less water. This one's going to take a lot less water. When you're in an automated system, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So it's best if they all grow at the same speed. And then obviously you're going to have to keep an eye just in case something throws a banana. But they say that it gives you a better representation of what that plant or that pheno is going to be once you start cloning it. So I don't know. You tell me.
I like getting rid of that first generation because I don't want to see something that I can't have.
Okay.
So I like getting rid of the seed. Me personally, I think that growing from seed is great outdoors. And I think there's obviously growing from seed is great. You'll get bigger plants, you get a taproot. But if you're looking for what's the long-term expression, because you're going to keep this alive in a clone form, getting rid of that first generation is okay.
Perfect.
And it saves you time. Okay, so you don't have to grow that out to see it again. Now you get the first generation, the second generation, because you really got to grow them out, and you'll fall in love with some. And then the next generation, you might fall in love with some others. And then third generation, it's like the ones that are still amazing. Those are usually the ones you go for.
Sick. Okay, cool. So I guess I'm in the right direction.
You're going in the right direction.
Somebody point me the right way.
And it's all fun. It's all like this. It's a very fun, the exploration side of it, where you're exploring different plants and you have a chance of winning the lottery. Because technically it's a big lottery. We're all playing the lottery, trying to hit that one.
It's the lottery for sure. It's as expensive as a lottery too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but back to the LED.
Well, you have an expensive facility. You have the most expensive, the most built out facility I've ever been. It's it's the Lamborghini of facilities.
But there's a reason for that. I know that I went over and beyond in building this thing. But the reason why this facility is so nice is because we use it for tours. Yeah. When I was selling controllers and selling lights.
Oh, yeah. It's the best sales pitch. You don't have to tell anybody. You just show them.
Come on by. Yeah. Come on by. You're looking to build something. You want to see how it's done. Come on, check it out. The funny thing is that, like you were saying about the LEDs, started and I got sidetracked. The controllability on these LEDs is like no other. And then while I was building that facility, a lot of ideas that the owner of Trollmaster had, and combined with my ideas, we developed a lot of products while we were building that space.
Right.
COVID did throw a wrench on our spoke and slowed us down, but there was a lot of products that were developed while that facility was being built, like the lifters, or something that he had in his mind for a long time.
Right.
And we actually built prototypes, and I tested them, and then gave him feedback. And even like there was a room that I actually changed lights without even growing in there because there was a new model that came out and I wanted it, and I wanted to show it because that facilities there is to sell product. I mean, sell products for Trollmaster.
Well, and showing the Trollmaster's potential. So I use the Trollmaster too in I've used it in the past, and it's beautiful in the sense that you can control the lights too. You can dim your lights with the Trollmaster on your phone.
Correct.
I want to dim the lights.
And down to 1%. You can dim our lights down to 1% and 1% increments, which a lot of lights you can only dim down to 40%.
Well, and I never thought of the Trollmaster as scalable back in the day. And now you go to your place and it's like, okay, you're doing it.
And that's another reason why we decided to do a facility, and we decided to do it big enough to where we can show people, hey, because trust me, a lot of people tell me, yeah, the Q controller, it's like Legos. Okay, nice, cute for the garage. And they used to make fun of me and tell me, yeah, you keep building your little garages and stuff like that. Right. And I can look at them and says, yeah, I got like a, I don't know, like a 600 car garage now.
Yeah.
That I grow weed in.
Seriously. Well, so, haters are going to hate.
Every day, all day.
Yeah,
they don't stop. And most of these haters, where they're at? They're in mom's basement somewhere because they don't have a life.
Seriously.
I never had anybody come rag on me that was doing better than me. You know why, James? Because they're too fucking busy.
They don't have the time for it.
They don't have the fucking time for it. So anybody that goes on my page or your fucking page and case on you know what? They got time in their hands. They ain't got nothing going in their lives.
Yeah, seriously. It's just... It's a hard reality. for some people, but you know, it is what it is.
You know what they say? If they ain't on you, you ain't got nothing going on. So.
Yeah. If you haven't made any enemies along the way, you probably haven't gotten there yet.
No, you ain't doing shit. So
yeah,
that's the way it is.
For sure. Your whole place is a family affair. You got your son working for you.
Yeah, my son works for me, and he was super sad to leave Florida. Obviously, you know, Florida's a beautiful place. I'd love to be able to go back there sometime. We're a red state, Republican. You know, California is very liberal. It's very blue.
It isn't. It isn't. Like you're here, I'm here.
Yeah, but you know what? Like there's a lot of red areas in the rural areas.
Yeah.
But like, you know, mostly Sacramento, you know, LA. Which
right. You got to get out of the cities.
People in Sacramento, San Francisco.
You go to Bakersfield and it's pretty red.
Pretty red, exactly. You know, all the rural areas are pretty red. Farming, and everything else is so it's definitely some adjusting. But you know, the kid's young. You know, he's in his early 20s.
Yeah.
You know, chasing girls, the beach. You know, playing volleyball in the sun. You know, hot water, ocean, and you take him to a landlocked place. You know, he's depressed.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know, he's depressed. But then he came into the facility. You know, just like any father and son, there's arguments. You know, there's fights, there's yelling and screaming. Mm-hmm. You know, and but the kid came into his own. You know, he stepped up, and he is the go-to guy. If you want any fucking questions answered about Trollmaster, go to my kid. Yeah, because he way surpassed me on the Trollmaster knowledge on all the controllers. And there's a couple of reasons for that. They're young. Yeah, they're very tech savvy. Super tech savvy,
absorbs information like a sponge.
Buttons, like, dude, slow the fuck down, dude. You know, well, let me figure it out and I'll tell you after. I'm like, no, talk to me through it. He's just like, you know, pushing fingers. It was aggravating, and then he laughs. He thinks it's funny, but whatever. And then the other thing is also, I feel like I tell people all the time. I walk around the building, and go, I don't even grow weed anymore. I grow a business. I grow emails. That's what I do. You know, I do make sure that I get out of my office and I walk the rooms all the time. I'm at the facility every day. I get involved, but at the end of the day, you know, I run a business. Yeah. You know, if there's an issue that they can't take care of or address, then I go and try to figure out. But they, for the most part, take care of that stuff. And then that kid came into his own with Trollmaster. It actually, him and the owner of Trollmaster now talk probably maybe more than I do, because he's the one that's doing all the data and all the testing, you know, that is passed on to him. So he takes care of that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's great. And it's something that you can pass on to him, that you guys share and you guys are both passionate about. Because I see it. I talked to him a lot yesterday, and it's really impressive what you guys are doing.
Yeah, he's definitely came into his own. I think he likes it. You know, he likes being there. He sees. I think kids have their own personalities. I got one that's in college, that graduated college. Yeah. He graduated from law school. He's an attorney now. He wants nothing to do with cannabis. He doesn't drink. He doesn't party. He doesn't go to strip clubs. Nothing. There's other one is more like me, you know. Yeah. The mango doesn't fall far from the tree when it lives on level ground, you know. Yeah. And but
the genetics lean heavy on your side.
Yeah, for sure. And now that he sees there, you know, he's never. I sheltered my kids for a reason, because I knew what weed kind of the taboo, right? And, you know, that it carried with it, and the time that it would carry. I didn't want him to follow in my footsteps. Never did I realize that this stuff was going to become legal, and then I moved to a legal state. But now he understands, and he's seen such transition from, okay, that's a mom, that's a teen, that's a clone. And if he goes to Florida for 5 days, comes back, you know, he's eager to come back into the room. And like what we did, if we ever stepped away from our grow room, we you know, first thing you come back from a trip, whatever trip or vacation or whatever it is, the first place that you go to is you go to the grow room and then check it out. And you go, holy crap, they fucking exploded. Oh my God, I can't believe how big they got, how fast they grow. So he's starting to see that, and he's starting to get the love for the plant, which is kind of cool. He talks to, I hear him talk to his friends and show him pictures and videos. So he's definitely developing a love for the plant that we all developed when we were young and then growing up.
Right. Yeah, and it's great because he's going to evolve into someone, I'm sure, in the industry. And it's like, as far as his passion, it's going to take him places that we would have never even thought.
Correct. And I hope so. I hope one day, he's hopefully, when I say it, I'm getting old. I want to, take a step back here in a few years once everything's running properly, and then I got an awesome crew at the facility. You know, I got a great director of cultivation. He puts his heart and soul into the space. Yeah. I don't think I could have hired, let's say, a better guy for that role. Mm-hmm. He's like me. He's there early. He's there last. Sometimes, I feel I feel guilty if I don't go to work, and sometimes I feel guilty if I leave him there. It's like,
Yeah.
I feel like fuck. I should be the one that's closing the door. But I'm very, very satisfied with the guy that I got there. And then same thing with the director of operations. They were both hired to do their roles, and I think they both do them well. And then I think we got an awesome team. Everybody, all the other managers that are there. It's a happy environment.
Right.
It's a happy environment. Everybody does their job, and there's really no issues there. It's pretty cool. I mean, I'm pretty happy with everything.
Nice.
Can't complain.
That's
Nobody's
great.
gonna listen anyway.
Yeah. Well, and you're pretty much a workaholic. When you're not on your phone, you're trying to build stuff. You got other projects going on too, right?
Yes. We're just getting ready to open up the Mango Tech store.
Nice.
Happens to be about a mile and a half from the facility. Another 20,000 square foot building, roughly 6,000 of that towards the front of the space is a showroom. It's like 4,000 square foot showroom and then 2,000 square feet of offices, where we're going to be have salespeople there. We're going to be able to do light maps.
Nice.
We're going to be able to do electrical drop maps for our the AC chain cords on CAD, and then we're going to do wind maps because we got a new fan line coming. Wind maps to figure out. We got a whole new fan line that was developed while this place was being built.
Right.
Because some other companies didn't want to play ball with me and pay me commission, so I became their competitor.
Yeah,
and,
that happens.
It happens, you're going to pay me, or I'm going to compete against you.
Yeah.
It's just, I was lucky enough to be able to find a partner that, that can build stuff for me, and then we can, I can sell it. So that's what happens. And then the showroom's pretty cool. The showroom's is a one of a kind, first of its kind. Is like an Apple store, hydro store. We don't sell everything under the sun there. We're branded. We're focused on selling Trollmaster stuff.
Nice.
Think Grow stuff, and all our affiliate companies that are with us. We're going to carry their products there. We're gonna showcase them and sell it too.
Oh.
But the place is also built. There's also a 16 light custom grow room in that space. DPS panels and everything. Grow glide racks, double tiered, single tiered, and I'm going to put every single, call it doohickey, that Trollmaster has in those racks. And then the thought process was, and obviously this evolves as it went, we're going to put a tag with a QR code and everything from the daisy chains to the flood detectors, everything. So people they're going to go and say, I didn't know they made that. I didn't know they made that. What is that? And they can go scan it with their phone. Yeah. And they can take pictures, because the only way you're going to get a tour of my facility is if you can prove to me that you're going to spend about $100,000 in my store. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I can't do a tour for everybody. Tours take 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. And if I did a tour for everybody, I wouldn't do anything. So people that come to the facility are either friends that I've had for a long time, they get a tour, or somebody's opened the doors for me to go to their space, or you're going to buy. If you're going to buy, come on in, let's go. Yeah. How many lights you want to buy? How many controllers you need? Come on in, I'll show you. And then we get people from around the city, the state, the country, and around the world. They can come on in. But this space, anybody can come in. You don't smoke weed, you can still come there and chill out. We're going to have a little lounge area. And then you can see how this place is, like that place is built like a commercial facility, and you're going to be able to copy and do it, whether you have a one light in a room, and you can do whatever the best you can with the funds that you got, the capital, or if you have a commercial facility or a trap, whatever, I don't care. I don't judge. Yeah. Come by, check it out, and it's perfectly located, 8th mile off the 50 between Lake Tahoe and San Francisco, and between, Redding and Lake Salinas, roughly, middle of the road. So I'm sure there'll be many drug deals being done in that parking lot. Yeah. I want 10%. Yeah. Right. Especially if you come inside and sit on the couch. Right.
How do you see the future of the industry as far as lighting has made so much progress since 2012, 13, when it was the purple LEDs and it was the worst bud ever.
The blurples.
Yeah, the blurples. From that to where it is now as being the main focus for most companies, they're like, okay, we're doing LEDs. They're cost effective, all this other. Where do you see the industry going in 5 years, 10 years?
I think when we went over to that I call it a seminar where Bobby Bags was talking about the Connect event. The Connect event, exactly that. Sergio Trost. And I went there just check it out, hear out what they have to say. One thing that we've been trying to work on for the last 4 years is some kind of side lighting, inner canopy lighting. They call it intercanopy lighting.
Yeah.
It's something that's very hot. I went to MJBiz last year and seen a bunch of it there. The side lighting or the inner canopy lighting, back then it was side lighting, was something that we work on.
Yeah.
Nowadays is inner canopy lighting. So it's not under canopy lighting. Under canopy lighting sits at the bottom of your tray.
Yeah.
Pretty much level with the top of your medium, and the light shines up. So the way that the light goes up into the bottom of the canopy, and then the top of the leaves, well, the light shines up to the bottom of the canopy, it reflects, and then it hits the top of your leaf, and that's called abaxial, because it's reflecting. It's hitting the bottom of your leaves, but the plants are absorbing the light that's reflecting from the bottom of the leaves in the canopy.
Yeah.
We wanted to go a step better, above and beyond, so we put our lights up in the canopy. A diode has 120 degree spread.
Yep.
And we went both sides. So then that's called adaxial, because the light's shining on top of the leaf. So it's more direct, it's more efficient. We've had a couple of prototypes, and I thought the last prototype was the one that we're going to go with, which I showed you. And at the last second, sometimes I leak intel on purpose to see what the peanut gallery has to say.
If you've got something to say, always there's always an opinion.
There's always peanut, and you evaluate that information that comes in. Everybody's always got an idea how they're going to do it better and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's intel that you take, you evaluate, and then you work from there. So this was going to be the last prototype, and I ended up kicking like a little girl and saying, no, we need to change it. And by the time this thing's been through projects, there's a mold, there's thousands and thousands of dollars in time and hours that's been put into this project. So they don't really want to scrap it. But finally at the end of the day, I take temperatures, and we leaf temperatures are touching these sinks, and then some leaf might be having a little burnt. I say, we're gonna, I take pictures and I send, they go, we're gonna get picked for that. We're gonna get Nick picked for that. So then we decided to call the ICL 300s because it has a 300 degree spread of light.
Nice.
Not just 180, but they're going to go actually down and then all the way around.
Right.
And you can stack our lights. So kind of touching base on what you think the future is, because that's what the original question was, is I think Bobby Bags was correct that in a couple of years, people will have some kind of inner or under canopy, intercanopy lighting, because to build another space costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the build out, the rent, the time that, say, if you have this space, how can we squeeze more juice out of this fruit?
Yeah.
You know what? Inner canopy lighting. That is the fucking next level.
So Justin, our mutual friend, Justin, Apical Biotech, when I first met him, he was talking about this stuff, and he was like, you need to attach it to the trellis. Like, it'll go up with the trellis, the lighting that goes, and I thought he was a little crazy, right?
I've heard every freaking suggestion.
Oh, totally. No, but this was 2018. And I was like, this guy's crazy a little bit, because he has crazy ideas.
Yes, he does. He's very knowledgeable. Yeah.
He's super knowledgeable. He thinks outside the box. He has some ideas where I'm like, oh no. And then now like, it's pretty, I think it's going to be a standardized thing, is eventually we'll have
100%.
And especially for greenhouses. I see the benefit even more than for indoor. Indoor, it's great. You'll get more yield and stuff. But if you can harden up those buds that are in the greenhouse where you have supplemental lighting, now you've got an indoor product, right? It looks like an indoor product.
It'll help.
So it'll help increase. It'll help to increase the quality of I love sun grown too. So I think it's like the perfect mix. If we can do mixed light.
Ooh, a little bit of mixed light.
A little bit of mixed light action.
A little mixed light, yeah. For sure. And I just think that's, like I said, Bobby, I think hit it on the nose. In the future, people are going to evaluate, well, I can get another 20, he's right on the numbers, 15 to 25% increase. And he was right on a lot of things that he said. Now you have A buds that are purple, you have A buds that are not, they say purple or whatever color that's color of the day or color of the year or whatever. Right. And then you have your bees and stuff like that. And then when you have under canopy lighting or inner canopy lighting, everything becomes uniform. You have bigger buds. And then the problem is going to be not a problem, but everybody's going to brag. We have the best pre-rolls because it's all bud. You know, they're not going to use the micros
Yeah.
for pre-rolls. Everybody right now
No,
uses
everyone's using smalls. Although some people, like the guys over at SF Canada, their smalls are just as good as the big nugs. You know what I mean? They burn clean, all that shit.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it won't be like, you won't get smalls. The smalls is going to be a thing of the past. I think he was talking about 5%, and I get it. Like when it's all graded, you know, and if you did it right and you had the right genetics, because that's very dependent on the genetics too.
Yep. The good thing about our inner canopy lights is that single tier, you run a little bit taller plant than you do in your double tier.
Yeah.
Our inner canopy lights you'll be able to stack, you know, one on top of each other. So you're going to have, and they're going to shine up.
Right.
So you're really going to have light from the tray.
Yeah. And you don't need a ton of light. So we're not talking about like,
watts.
Yeah, 120 watts.
60 watts per side.
Yeah.
It's really not that much.
Yeah.
But think about it. If you have a 5 foot tall plant, you have light from the top coming down.
Yeah.
And then you have a light bar inside the canopy that's shining, and then you have another one up here. You have light from the bottom to the top, so there is no
it's maximum efficiency.
Maximum efficiency.
It also is going to require more parts per million, higher EC potentially.
Correct. Yep. And he had a bunch of good information in there too.
Additional, you're going to have to feed it more.
You're going to have to feed it more, a little bit more feed, you know, for sure.
More transpiration.
A little bit more humidity. But that's okay because you can handle that. You know, you can add a dehumidifier. You can add, you know, a little bit more AC. We got these serious
dehumidifiers now that to handle that kind of stuff.
Yes, and then obviously there's reheat also. If people wanted to go that way, they can use the reheat in an AC unit if they wanted to do that too.
Yeah.
So there's definitely options, but I think the easiest way to increase your money in a current space is going to be the inner canopy lighting, hands down, instead of building another space.
Besides having good genetics.
Besides having good genetics. Yeah. You know, good genetics goes from, we all know, good genetics is
everybody's genetics. But having good genetics,
you got to have good
everything.
genetics. It's everything. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. You got to have good genetics.
It all starts from that seed at some point in life, but it starts from having good genetics. I mean, if you don't have good genetics, it's hard to get, I mean, you can't get good wheat out of shitty genetics. It just doesn't.
You either got to have good genetics, good seeds, or you got to have friends that give you good genetics.
Yeah. There's somewhere along the line.
Sometimes you cheat and you say, hey man, what do you got? And they go, right. I got this for you. Don't give it to anybody. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
You know,
totally.
And that works. Yeah,
for genetics is everything. You know, at the end of the day, I feel like genetics is what it boils down to. Like we're in the genetics race right now. Everybody's trying to get their own new thing.
There's so many nowadays, just kind of crazy. You know, everybody, like I said, even if you're not a breeder, you're an in-house guy, and then, you know, you have a little pollen, you have a reversal plant, and you go start touching. I mean, you might not be getting a jar of seeds like this, but, you know, you get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 seeds out of a branch. You know, if you want to put pollen on a branch, and then you're an in-house guy, you can get genetics. There's just so much of it.
Well, I was talking to one of my friends. I was talking to Mojave Richmond, and we were talking about cultivars and how many cultivars there are in the United States right now in rec, and there's somewhere between 35 and 5,000 different named cultivars. It could be a lot of the same shit, and then worldwide 20,000 different cultivars. That's way more than any other plant species that's been domesticated, available for, you know, commercial and retail.
You know what I don't know if there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that there is. I don't know if any of you guys have sat down and made a forum page, whatever internet page that shows every single name of strain. Because I mean, there's so many strains nowadays that it's hard to come up with a name. And I suck at coming up with names.
It's tough.
I suck at coming up with names. The director of cultivation that works
AI,
for me, he comes with ChatGPT. Hey, totally. Call it this. But the director of cultivation that works for me, he's great at coming up with names. Like, fucking just spat that out. I've been thinking for 3 days what to call something. He just spit it out. But what happens?
Seed Finder EU is the place where you go for all the genetics. It's the closest thing we really have now that I think is an organized list of lineage.
Interesting. So I got a question for you. Let's say you cross 2 strains and you come up with a name for something, right? Yeah. And then XYZ person over there crosses same strains or 2 different strains. Well, let's go one problem at a time. Let's say crosses the same strains and then causes the same thing by accident or whatever it is. So what takes precedent?
I mean, this is the question of the year. You know, because it happens all the time. People have come up with the same name, you know, because there's so many names. Black Betty, for instance, like I named something Black Betty. This other fucking guy named something Black Betty too, and it was probably someone else that named it before that. It's like you can kind of take credit for anything until you get it trademarked.
You ain't got shit.
Yeah, until you have a trademark
But then
on
you can't trademark the strain either anyway.
No, but you can trademark the name.
The name, kind of like I did Miami Mango.
Yeah, but you can trademark the name in California. You on a state level, you can trademark stuff.
Okay.
Right. But this still, I mean, and that's like if we're looking at it from a legal standpoint, if we're talking about clout and all these other things, that's a whole different thing. Because the perfect example is Rainbow Runts. Canna Organics came out with Rainbow Runts. So I was working with Tim and Kyle, and there's Rainbow Runts. It was originally Rainbow Runts. And then literally Mike from Exotic comes out with Rainbow Runts and sells it commercially. And he's obviously way bigger.
Big dude. So
right?
everybody's
like Rainbow Runts and they think of his. So Tim and Kyle renamed Rainbow Runts Rain Shadow Runts, which is the Skittles times Gelato 41. And it's fucking amazing. And it's different, completely different. But like this happens all the time. And so it's like, I think it's just one of those things like we're going to have, it's going to be Rainbow Runts by Exotic as opposed to Rainbow Runts by that in the future. And that this kind of stuff happens unless we have trademarks. That's the only way to really like, if you have it trademarked and it's your shit, then, you've paid the money and you can enforce it too. If other people try to do it on the commercial. Now, if we're talking outside a rec, that's a different story.
Correct. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. And it's tough to enforce things nowadays on something that's kind of regulated but not regulated. Right. There's no banking and stuff like that. So if these guys that are trapping, they breed and they call something, how
a lot of this stuff becomes big on the black.
Yeah.
Right, on the black market.
How are you supposed to find those people and send them a cease and desist?
Right.
Hey, you can't call that. That's that's this strain that I created, and I've been working years, and I paid all this money to getting trademarks and implementing them in every state. It's not cheap.
No,
it's not cheap.
No, enforcement's the most expensive part about getting a trademark. If you have to enforce something.
I just had some guys in California that were selling vapes with Miami Mango, and then somebody sent me a thing, and I'm like, oh fuck, dude. Okay, you got to send it to the attorney,
right?
And the attorney's going to 5, 6, 7.
Oh, you love lawsuits.
No, I know they sue me, but the little bitches, and they said, they started on Instagram. Listen, I talk a lot of shit.
That's done.
I talk a lot of shit on Instagram.
Yeah.
But it's my page,
right?
And I don't call anybody out in particular. I just say, a group of people, hand watering.
Yeah.
I don't say James Lau hand waters. He's this.
Hell yeah, hand water. No, I'm kidding.
But even I make fun of a group of people. You know what? Because I sell automation equipment. If I sold a fucking hose, I would say automation sucks. I mean, hello. And then I sell salts. I sell liquid fertilizer that is synthetic. So J for, synthetic fertilizers. I make fun, let's say, of, organic stuff, even though I got friends that grow great organic weed and then vice versa. But I sell salt. So I'm going to make a meme.
Yeah.
And people get so hung up on it. They get so caught up on it. So they get angry. So I talk shit on my page, but I sell the products. And then people get hung up on it, and then they hate on me. They never met me a day in my life. We could probably go out and have a beer and hang out, whatever. But they get so caught up on this because they do it. Yeah. But then there's those people that say, you know what? Thank you, Mango, for your memes just got to me and finally. And then I made the change. I never go back. Those are cool. But I talk a lot of crap. But like I said, it's generalized to sell. And then these guys come on my page and then they attack me, attack my products.
Right.
I never go on your page.
They take it real personal. And Instagram isn't the real world, guys. It's just
not one fucking bit.
It is a piece of the world, but it is not the world. And some people live in it as if it is the world. And it's like, there's a whole world outside that, man. And that's the real world.
But when they come at me and then they attack me on my page, then I start going back at them, and then they push back, and then I start making memes at them because, then I got time. I sit in my truck and just fucking play. I am the boss of the company, so I can sit in the truck and make a meme if I feel like it.
Right.
I don't clock in, so I got time. And then they start feeling in, and people start, they call them the Mango Minions. They start, joining in, and then they start feeling threatened if they don't like it. They're getting poked, and then give me your legals, bro, because I'm going to sue you. You're going to feel me. I go, okay, well, we went to fucking court, and then
good luck.
I got smart, and then I attacked jurisdiction. I'm not going to entertain your case, your 7 counts that you try to sue me on. They were bullshit and frivolous. I attacked jurisdiction, and that was that. But it cost me a fucking bunch of money.
Right.
To go fight that thing. It cost me a ton of money to go to court. And they know it. You know what? They fucking know it.
Yeah.
They call themselves that they have in-house attorneys, and that's bullshit. Their partners is a law firm, because I know that the attorney that sued me, that filed the paperwork, my attorney's not dumb. He goes and sees the guy, runs the name, see if he's, a legal attorney, who he works for, if he's, got what firm he works for. They do all the due diligence. You know, they assess the problem. You know, you assess the people you're going to go battle with. And the same attorney that was suing me, that was an in-house attorney, wasn't the same attorney that was suing Lux or Etched LED.
Yeah.
They're all different. So what does that tell you? He's partners with a law firm, and it's cheap to them to drag you into their state.
Yeah, not cheap for you.
It's not cheap for, it's not cheap for me.
Lawyers always win.
It's not correct, 100%. And it's not cheap for me. But we did it a smart way. We fought jurisdiction. They had a chance to appeal, and they decided not to. And then they realized that coming to California, what they were suing me for was a lot tougher to
enforce
in California, a lot tougher to enforce. They knew it, and their attorney probably told them it's just best if you probably don't. Yeah. And it's going to cost them money, because now they're going to have to hire an attorney in California that's because it's not an in-house attorney. Right. So they just decided to go away. But I'm sure I don't know, at some point I'm sure he's fine. He's going to try to find something else.
Who knows?
Yeah. I know. Whatever.
Wild times. Yeah.
Well, this reminds me like California, or reminds me of Florida, Sioux State. It's like everybody wants to sue everybody.
Yeah. We would. It's the day and age. Unfortunately, when I grew up, we didn't sue people.
No, you didn't. You freaking kind of dealt with it. It is what it is.
I don't remember my dad talking about suing people ever. No.
But
people would fight back then too, like with fists.
That too, yeah.
Like this.
Yeah, I think people fight nowadays too with megaphones.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's wild.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Those got flagged on Instagram for bullying.
Oh yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you're the biggest bully.
Yeah. so big. Oh my God, it's crazy.
So if people are interested in finding more about what you do, where would they go? You got a bunch of places.
The easiest way to find me is through the store. www.mangotech.store. You can
go in direct. Yep.
Go in direct. Yeah, you can buy direct. We ship worldwide.
Yep.
We ship worldwide. And they can find us, or we're working on a website. Should be released for the facility. We got to have it up before we can sell to the rec market, and we've been working on that. And you got some good genetics too. You got Flamingo Runts. Flamingo Runts is a great cut of runts. It's definitely flavorful. And then that Fuji is another good strain that it's got the right colors, got the right nose. Yeah, smokes good, tastes good, and then people telling me that the weed's smoking great. So nice. Shout out to the director of cultivation. He's doing a fucking great job. Yeah, he loves working there. He likes working there. And then you seen the improvement from the first time that you So from the first time, it's like night and day. Yes. I'll be honest. It was a little rough in the beginning, and it always is. Some of the rooms were rough. Like I said, I took a hiatus from growing. Yeah. Well, also you're at a big scale too. You're at a whole nother scale. It's a new place with all kinds of new technology that that a lot of people haven't even played with. The nano bubbler. LEDs that are badass, they're intense. I took a hiatus from growing, personally, even though I sold LEDs. This new way of irrigation came about. There was, crop steering that I had no fucking clue about. I recycled feed back in the day. And then I actually paid a couple of people to come and consult for me and then tell me about crop steering. A couple of different people, because, you want to get a couple of different, aspects of their views, Yeah. And then you kind of, start playing with this stuff. And then I tell you, every fucking room is different, because some rooms are just supercharged. They're super efficient. Yeah. The way that the air flows, the way that the AC is working, too much AC, less AC, a lot of wind, whatever it is. So you get all this information from people that have been doing it, but everything is going to work out slightly different in your space. And you got to learn that. You can't buy experience from fucking anywhere. And that's what I tell my kid all the time. So you got to figure stuff out. You got to put the time in, do the work. You got to put the time in. And so, so I'm glad that you came. You got to come back yesterday, and we got it was a great tour. I redeemed myself a little bit, and for sure you redeemed yourself. James, come here, James, come into this room. What do you think? Remember last time? It's so different. So different, and very even canopies now. I'd say your canopies are super even, especially compared to before. It's like, but these are all learning curves, and everybody goes through them. If you have a grow and you want to get better, it happens over time. Right. Yeah, and then the different size canopies also, like when we started this thing, we started with 63 strains, and against... That's pretty wild. That's pretty aggressive. You had to throw everything in there, and then the director of cultivation is going, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. But I go, we got to figure out what they like, what they don't like. And let's just figure out now. So fucking we can put stuff to the side.
Well, it's great doing a handful at a time, but you got a 63. It's like so hard.
There was one room that had
in.
17 cultivars, 2,000, 2,200 plants. And we had 17 cultivars.
Yeah.
The good thing is that we kind of figured out, we kind of knew the ones that were going to hit, and we bulked those in the room.
Yeah.
So the room did okay, but overall the yields and the ratios from A to B's to smalls and micros was a little whacked.
Right.
And since then we've turned the corner by far, and then we see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's definitely going to get better from this point on.
Nice.
Can't wait to get the inner canopy lighting though in there.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Well, I look forward to getting a tour again. So if anybody's looking for you, they can go to your 4 Instagram accounts. Mostly it's the Mango 2.0 now.
It's at Miami Mango 1.0.
Yeah.
That's the main account. That's the one that everybody follows because
You've been getting deleted a lot over the years, but now it's been a while.
Yeah, I got a guy that I paid to bring my account back, but eventually they disappear.
Yeah.
So that's the one that everybody follows, that everybody complains about, but they love to follow because it's the most controversial.
Yeah.
That's the Miami Mango 1.0.
Yeah.
The other one is Miami Mango Cali. That's the backup to the fuckery account.
Yeah.
Now, professional accounts where you don't see no memes, no personal shit, no cursing.
Yeah.
It's Miami Mango CA for either California or cannabis. That's the actual official Instagram page for the facility. And then there's there's Mango Tech .store. That's the store's
right
Instagram page. And we push controllers and that's another professional page. And there's some people that say that dude's not professional. You're looking at my blog page. It's supposed to be me, what I'm about. I say it like it is.
Yeah, you have fun with it too, and yeah. I mean, I think that's part of the beauty of it is you have a lot. You could tell if you actually follow it, you could tell that you have fun with it. It's part of you.
I do.
It's a very big expression of yourself.
I'm addicted. I need to go to Instagram Anonymous.
Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been a blast.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I'll come do another tour in 3 months and see where you're at. I'm excited.
Come by in 3 months. Hopefully we have some inner canopy lighting in there. And then you can see the whole canopy from top to bottom, being big buds.
Awesome.
Sick.
Well, have a good one. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure.
Good stuff.